Welcome back. You're still with us right here on Finweek Money Matters. Remember, this is the show that helps you manage your finances and also make sense of some of the headlines that we've seen. The recent one is these multinationals and the European trade ministers are scrambling to build relationships with Iran. Now, with the world's fourth largest oil reserves and the second biggest economy in the Middle East, it is seen as one of the greatest untapped markets in the world. In studio with us to talk about some of the implications of the Iran deal and what it may mean for Africa and its competitiveness is Chris Bishop. He is the managing editor of Forbes Africa. Chris, thanks so much. A history lesson from you. If we look at Iran and the US, maybe just take us back a bit just so we can understand the dynamics.
Well, I mean, this is being seen as one of the small victories towards the end of Barack Obama's tenure as the President of the United States. In some ways, it is. If you look at it, I mean, Iran was on this nuclear program, and for decades, Iran has almost led the campaign in the Middle East against the United States. If you go right back, if you look at the late 70s, 1979, I mean, Iran held American diplomats and Marines as hostages. I mean, that thing went on for a year. I mean, in the end, as you know, it was a big struggle to get them out of the country. And diplomatic relations have been non-existent, to say the least, since then. The very fact that Barack Obama, after all this time and all this bitterness and all this hatred between the two countries, can actually pull any form of deal up, I think is good. But again, the next question is going to be, is that how quickly is the country going to open up to the United States capital? And how quickly does it before people in the country? I mean, the whole reason why there was trouble in the first place was because the West, particularly the United States, had a big arm to play in Iran with the Shah was their puppet, the guy who was deposed by the Islamic Revolution in '79. And the whole point was, they said, we've sold out to the United States, we're losing our culture, losing our identity. And how are you actually going to say, well, actually, it's okay now, you can do business with the United States?
Stop you there. We just need to fix something on you, but we're going to come to Jana, who just wants something to
No, I think it's a great deal if it can hold, and I think that's the big concern at this point, is that there's quite strong opposition, obviously, from the Republicans, and then, of course, also, we're also seeing opposition in Iran itself, that not everyone is quite as excited as Europe, perhaps, about this deal. But I do think, given the economic troubles that Iran has been through in the last 2 years, particularly, they had inflation hit 40% in 2013. I think there's a young generation of Iranians who really want this thing to, they want to be part of the global economy. They want to have the same opportunities and the same freedoms. So it will be an interesting time to see how they get it approved through the US Congress and how this will all play out.
Big argument here, or one of the concerns, we spoke about the positives with Jana, especially for some of the companies here in South Africa, but our competitiveness as South Africa and as Africa, if Iran has got all these opportunities, what opportunities does Africa still hold, Chris? I mean, you've got Obama that's making his way to Africa.
I mean, if you look at it, there's certain businessmen in this country who made a fortune out of actually dealing in oil between this country and Iran. I'm thinking of one in particular. But what I'm saying is that that there are opportunities there, and again, any form of trade, any form of investment at this particular time to help this continent industrialize. Because I was just talking about it now with somebody interviewing me from London. I was saying that I think this continent has got a lot more pain to go through in the future. I think there's a lot of, I think living standards are going to fall. I think it's going to struggle. And I think the only way out of it is to take the pain, invest, and industrialize for the future, which is going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, and a lot of people are going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. But I think that's the future. And again, if there's a flow of commodities and investment between here and another country on earth, I think it's only a good thing.
Chris, now that President Barack Obama is on his way to Kenya and Ethiopia, this entrepreneurial summit that's currently taking place, what are you hoping to see?
Well, this Iran thing we mentioned is a little feather in his cap that he's managed to sort of bring around relations. Kenya has long been a friend of the United States. In fact, it's one of the biggest friends in Africa for the United States. I don't know. I mean, at the moment, it's an absolute circus going on up there. People painting the walls, cleaning the streets, planting hundreds of thousands of flowers and bushes all over the place. I'm sure Obama himself won't even see them or remember them if he does. But what I'm saying is there's this huge shindig going on. Again, there are severe security concerns at the same time, wondering whether there's been these incursions from Al-Shabaab in the east for some time. Will it Will it sort of like stir them up, etc., etc.? There's been huge security things, whole areas of the city, according to some of our colleagues here from Kenya, saying their families have been shut out because of him going in there. I don't know. In terms of investment, the only good thing from Forbes Africa point of view is that he's there for investment, for entrepreneurs. Yes, that's what his strip's about, which I think there's loads of great entrepreneurs in Kenya, a lot of people doing it, etc., etc., etc. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, he's not coming here for bilateral talks. He's not coming here for trade relations. He's talking about entrepreneurs in this continent. And I think that's always a great thing because, again, going back to what I was saying about industrialization, I think it's the future. I don't think the state coffers have got anything left for helping people. I don't think the state coffers are finished. The only way we can get in is people get up and do things for themselves.
Closing comment from you, Jana?
Yeah, no, I think it's there's great opportunities that waits for us. But I also think with the Iran deal and just the popularity, how people are really keen to get involved there, it also forces us to look at our game and make sure that we remain an attractive investment destination, because there are, frankly, other places people can put their money. So we have to make sure it's a compelling offering to investors. Yeah.
I think, yes, I think it's the time. And I think that, again, one of the stories we've run in the past from Kenya is about this Silicon Savannah, all these young people and these ICT operations with new tech who've been trained in Kenya, who are coming up now, some of them not even shaving, they're in their early 20s, etc., making money, making a fortune. I mean, one of the under 30 we did was a 20-year-old guy who turned down a scholarship to Harvard. I mean, in the old days, people would have been gone and done that. But he's there, and he's already sold a company for $500,000 US. He's now on his next company now. So there are people out there doing stuff. And I think the idea of sitting back and saying, what's the government doing for us? I think, thankfully, those days are coming to an end in this continent.
Well, we're going to wrap it up. Before